All right, YouTube, we're back. This section we're going to talk about your pack and how much weight you're going to carry and what shoes you should choose to go with that. I'm just going to preface this with I am not a doctor. I'm not giving health advice, but I'm just giving you general knowledge that I've accumulated over the years. And one of those bits of knowledge is whatever you're comfortable hiking in, stick with that. Don't change your shoe up the day before you go out. If you wear this, and all your buddies say, oh, well, I'm wearing a, high top with a polyurethane midsole and, big stiff boot, that's okay. It works for them. It might not work for you. So before you go out on your trip, make sure you hike in the shoes you're going to be hiking in. Get about 50 miles in them with the relative pack weight that you're going to be carrying, just to get your feet used to it. You never want to change your shoe a week before the trip. So that goes back to kind of getting into a gear shop, an outfitter that knows what they're talking about, and a couple months before your trip, and go in and spend some time finding shoes. Now, the other thing I'll say is that a lot of people are, I need a high ankle to protect me while I'm hiking. That's true. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit higher ankle. And again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to relay a message that I was, given by a podiatrist, is in order to support your ankle enough so that it doesn't roll, the boot has to be almost 8 inches tall. So this is about a 5-inch, if that, maybe 4. So, but it doesn't hurt to have a little bit extra protection. And kind of that piece of information is based off of my experience. Wore this shoe on the Grand Teton, climbed it, took about 21 hours round trip, and my pack was roughly 25 to 30 pounds. So I wore this shoe. It was great. It worked out. The other trip I did was out to the Cirque of Towers in Wyoming. And we went in, it was a much more, let's say it was a shorter hike. It wasn't straight uphill, but we were gonna be there for 7 days with climbing equipment and food for 2 people. So my pack was 80 pounds, and that's the heaviest I've ever had a backpack. My trip to Rainier, I was around 65 and I had mountaineering boots. So that was a whole different story, but I packed in 85 pounds almost, let's call it 80, with this shoe over 3,000 feet pass, Jackass Pass, if you're familiar with the Cirque of Towers, in maybe 2 miles. So it was very steep, but I had been training in this shoe. I was used to it. And I was actually about 6 months off an ankle surgery. So kind of not the wisest decision there, but it worked out. And then what's probably more important than ankle height on your shoe in terms of support is the stability. So how your shoe interacts with the ground versus the midsole and the upper, and then to the insole. So a good insert is going to have a nice cupped feature like this. It's going to have some arch and some padding. And what that's going to do is it's going to cushion your foot and keep it in a proper alignment. So, you don't want to just go with whatever thin foam insert that came in there, unless it's an Oboz. These guys have one of the best packages altogether, just right out of the box, and for a really reasonable price point. So check them out if you're on the fence and getting something really expensive. Then there's Superfeet. Superfeet makes incredibly nice inserts. They're just super stiff, and a lot of people don't like them, but they provide a lot of support. So next thing that's going to give you some support is a shank in your shoe, which is either a metal, which not anybody uses except for probably there's the Vask Sundowner that's still made, is a steel shank. This is a PVC, some kind of plastic shank. You'll see how it kind of flexes and stops right there. That's where the shank is. So that gives you a little bit more support underfoot, whereas this doesn't have a shank, but it has a piece of nylon plastic right there that kind of acts as a rock plate. So all those things kind of put in together are what's going to support your feet. The heavier the pack, the more stable you want a shoe, but just stick with the shoe you've been using and do not switch it up a week or 2 before the climb or hike. So yeah, thanks for watching. On to the next video.